It is a normal Tuesday morning in room 14. 32 students sit quietly at their desks, waiting for the final bell. At 3:15, that bell rings, but only 31 students walk out of the classroom. Authorities immediately lock down the perimeter. They check the heavy glass windows, all bolted from the inside. They check the single heavy oak door at the front of the room. Hallway security cameras are pulled and reviewed. The footage confirms an empty corridor. Nobody exited that room during the entire afternoon period. The physical perimeter is completely intact. According to the architecture of the space, the missing boy must still be inside. Yet he is gone. A solid physical object has vanished from a sealed environment, defying the basic laws of physics. Crime scene detectives arrive and immediately isolate the witnesses, initiating standard interviews with the remaining 31 students. In these interrogations, investigators rely heavily on judging demeanor. They watch for behavioral leakage, signs of panic, nervous eye contact, or the physical tells of deception. They find none of it. All 31 witnesses are perfectly calm. They genuinely believe the boy never left his seat. This diagram shows the linkage triangle, a standard model investigators use to connect a victim, a suspect, and a crime scene using hard evidence. But the physical reality of room 14 breaks this triangle. The boy's heavy backpack remains undisturbed beneath his desk. His half-finished mathematics test sits perfectly aligned on the center of his table. The physical search expands rapidly. Aerial drones scan the building's roof, and scent dogs sweep the exterior grounds. They find absolutely nothing. Every piece of physical data gathered makes the disappearance less probable. With no evidence of an exit, the investigation is logically paralyzed. With physical data leading to a dead end, investigators review the room's situational context. The lesson plan reveals a high-stakes, timed mathematics test. The teacher was positioned at the front of the room, writing a complex formula on the blackboard, her back completely turned to the desks. The students were in a state of extreme physiological focus. Their attention was narrowed entirely onto the individual test papers in front of them. During the window of the disappearance, 62 witness eyes were open and present, yet no one reported a single unusual sound. No chair scraping against the linoleum, no footsteps walking down the aisle. The investigation moves past the physical absence of footprints and toward the collective blind spot shared by everyone present. Cognitive psychologists identify this phenomenon as crime blindness, a biological quirk that alters how we process visual data. This schematic illustrates the human visual field. When the brain locks onto a task, it actively deletes unexpected data from the periphery to conserve processing power. In that classroom, the extreme concentration required for the test created a collective cognitive blind spot. Within the vacuum of the classroom, the boy likely stood up and walked into the visual gaps created by his peers. Eyewitness memory relies on the brain actually recording an event. The students cannot remember him leaving because their visual cortex actively refused to log the data. The witnesses are not accomplices. They aren't covering for him. They are biological victims of their own intensely focused attention. The physical hardware of the door was secondary to the mental barriers erected by the student's own attention. Human psychology provides a map for how he moved past 31 witnesses inside the room. But the perimeter of the school was a different environment. The exterior hallway was monitored by digital security feeds. Cognitive blindness only works on human brains. A camera lens does not experience focus fatigue. It does not delete a walking boy to concentrate on a math test. While the biological failure of the witnesses explains the silence in the room, his transition through the door and into the empty hallway remains an unsolved physical contradiction.